Hi, this is Trevor Conquergood. Welcome to this week's RNK Software Club's video for the week. And this week we're going to talk about the ability to break apart text and how that can be helpful to make, additional edits. And so to get started, what I've done is created a text segment that is simply the words breakup text. But notice when I select it and I look in my properties box that there's simply one segment with the, symbol T beside it representing that it's a text segment. And let's go ahead and select that and make a copy. So now we have two text segments, they both say breakup text. And I guess you already know that with a text segment, you can obviously change the text to say, any kind of text that you want, and you can easily change the letter style to be any letter style that you want. And so these are abilities that come with a text segment. But what we don't have with a text segment is the ability to edit the way the stitching goes inside of the letters, or the sequence, like where it starts each letter and finishes. That is all taken care by the software. And so there are times where you may want to break apart the text, which will allow us to kind of have more ability to edit each individual letter. And so to be able to do that, you would use your select tool and you would select your text, whatever text you wanted to break up. And notice that right now we have, one text segment for the words breakup text. But if I right click, this is what I'm talking about. The ability is called breakup text. And so I'll go ahead and choose that now. And what happens is the program separates and makes individual segments for each letter. So now if you look at the sequence area, you'll see the B and the R and the E as each as an individual letter. We still have the word Trevor as a text segment, but the word breakup text is now a bunch of individual segments. And like I said, there's reasons why you may want to do that. Just, a simple example would be to be able to take control of the entry point and exit point for every letter. So if you didn't want them to closest join, and you didn't want the B to finish here where the R ends, and you wanted the B to, maybe finish where it started, and you wanted it to purposely jump down to here so that you could get them, the machine to trim the thread or something. So, that way I could even select this letter B and come into its properties box and make specifically tell it to have a trim command in the codes. So there is extra abilities when you break apart your text. Now, another time that you might want to break apart text would be to fix it. So a lot of times I find that when I'm making my the built-in text generally works very well. And so does the true type font. So if I click on TTF, and now we get to choose from a list of fonts that are in our windows. And essentially what happens is the program auto digitizes it. So whatever font I'm choosing, once I choose TTF, and I can come down here and just choose another font, and every time I do, the program auto digitizes it, and it does do a very good job of figuring out how to make the stitches for these fonts. But there are times where you may wish that you could change the way it goes. And so that's kind of what break apart would give us, because so I'll stop here and just example. So if I don't like the way the M stitches, the way that the stitching turns around the M, or maybe the stitching at the end of the Y, then once again, I need to be able to edit that. I need to break up text. And so I would click on my select text, select tool, select that text, and then right click where I have an option to break up text. So once that's completed, I now simply have a shape for the letter M. It's simply a satin path. And now I know that if I go into my shape tool, I can control the inclination lines, and I can control the splitting lines. So that, of course, would be something that you could learn more about in a video about the satin path tool. But just as an example, I'm changing the stitch inclinations to make them go kind of more at the same. And then I think I'll come here and right click and choose to add a split line. Now I could split it this way or this way. It's entirely up to you to where you want to split it. But notice when I right click that it will update. And so I've changed the way the sewing is on the corner. And again, today's video is really about breakup text and how I need to break up the text to gain the ability to edit the stitch inclination lines for each individual letter, and or the entry and exit points for each letter. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed this week's RNK Software Club's video for the week. Until next week, thanks for watching. Have a great day and bye for now.